Congratulations. Haven't seen you in person.
Good evening, we're gonna call this meeting, the Port of Johnstown Management Committee meeting to order at 6:31. May I have a move and a second to approve the agenda? Moved by Mr. Ward, seconded by Mr. Smell. All in favor? Carried. Any disclosure preparing the interests and general nature thereof? Do we have anything? None. Delegation presentation, we don't have any. Minutes of the previous Port of Johnstown Committee meeting March 20th, 2024. Need a mover and a second if approved. Moved by Mr. Ward, seconded by Mr. Martell. All in favor? Carried. Business arises from the previous Port of Management Committee minutes, if any. Any business arising? Okay. Moving on to 7, discussion items, there's nothing to report, so we'll get right into the action and information items. 8A, grain operation report. Who's gonna speak? Mike? Thank you. You're up and running.
Good evening.
Leave some box on the plane tonight, so.
Make it quick.
I didn't say that.
The overall grain inventory for the month of March ended at 82,332 metric tons. Wheat shipments continue to be late, and there's little activity of beans and corn coming in. Received a total of 10,438 metric tons via truck, 5,834 metric tons. I'm sorry, we received 10,438 metric tons via truck. We shipped 5,834 by truck. We shipped nothing by vessel or by rail this month. It's pretty quiet. We successfully completed the GMP Plus surveillance audit to maintain our certification, and we worked March 31st and April 1st for our local customer. We had no accidents to report. See the current labor hours in 1965 versus 3218 previous year, and we had a quality audit this month, and we're back to the AAA. That would be the operation report.
Questions, comments, people? Frank?
Nothing for me.
Okay. Anyone? Please.
Just
Mr.
so,
Ward?
go ahead. So I guess good job on reducing the hours. I guess maybe just that was just based on we knew the volume coming in. Is that why we did that, or was that just like what would happen there? I guess to
It's been down to the that we had last year. It's down considerably.
Okay. So you're able to flex your floor. Okay, that's great. Thank you.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, maintenance report, D,
I'll do that one as well.
go ahead, Mike.
So the maintenance report for April, conducted the monthly premise inspections as per the GMP requirements. The skill test weights passed their 5-year certification and have been returned, and they're being reinstalled right now. Empty bin maintenance at annex bin number 3, installed new aerator frame and ducts on the north side of annex bin number 7. Inspection maintenance on annex locker. Annex equipment GMP maintenance, replace dry belts on the annex locker, replace the front calipers, brake calipers, rotors, and pads on the maintenance truck. Began main house aerator inspection repairs, and that's a big one we're doing this month. Items from the work order log and weekly monthly dust systems inspections and maintenance. The electrical portion was assisted millwrights as required. Assisted decor replacing the short section, replaced 130 feet of electrical cleaners to the ring MCC number 8. This portion was in ground fault last month. Replaced electrical wiring to the aerator on the north side of annex bin number 7. And began replacing proxy and conduit supports for tripper spine systems and items from the work order log.
Questions, comments, Frank?
Not for me.
Anybody, please? Mr. Smell?
Yeah, through the chair to Mike. Just out of curiosity, when you get your rotors and brakes and caliper, do you send that out to a garage or do you have somebody your own?
No, we did that in-house.
Okay, good, that's one of them, thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah, through the chair, with regards to the main house aerator inspection, so how often is that done? And is it a lot of work sort of thing, or
It
is
is a lot of work. I mean, there's, about 100 aerators, even 100 bins in there are aerated, and the grain gets down through and gets into the pipes, and those are the pipes, we're gonna take the pipe apart, being grain. Yeah, I mean, it's a 100-year-old system, it needs a lot of maintenance.
Right.
We really, I think, probably haven't done as much as we should have in the past, and we've really been concentrating on getting them back up.
Oh, yeah, part of the question was how often is it done? So I guess that's part of, it's a scheduled thing, but is as needed, is that how it works right now?
Right now, it's the house becomes empty, and the area begins to become empty, then we work out. So it's hard to understand.
Okay, Mr. Mayor? No. Anything? People? Glenn? Okay. Very good. I just had that one and that, when you say, we begin, maintenance in the house area. How many have we done so far? We begin to.
Areas?
Yeah,
Oh. Want to say 50?
okay. And we just keep going as they get empty, like you said.
Yeah, what we try to do is we go around and we turn them on to see, how they're working, and we'll kind of rate them as
Right,
what percentage we think are plugged. So then we pick the worst ones first, and we kind of look backwards.
good. And get everything ready for fall. Good. Thank you very much. Capital projects, 8C.
Thank you. I'm not gonna really go through each individual, I read them a lot. Benefits and taken down, to see the status for each line there. Basically, we're in the quotation phase, where we've got parts on it. That's kind of where we're at, the exception would be the traction repairs, we have an accident, that later too. Happy to get anything, but.
Any questions we may have? Mr. McCauley,
I'm fine, thank you.
Mr. Skip,
Nope.
yeah. Jim? Be quiet, guys. I know that they don't start till 7:30, so. So anyways, any other? Mr. Snell?
No,
Okay. Well, capital projects are going along. Financial report, 8D.
Our revenue for the month was 339,000, lower than 2023 by 375,000. The variance is mainly because of the corn receiving projects we did last year, along with the steel rail project last year. Also, no salt has arrived in March for this year, expenses were kept under budget by 50,000 and under 2023 by 69,000. Our year to date, our revenue, our harbor services are down 243,000, grain services are down 331, rail services are down 89,000, leases are up 14,000. For our expenses, our labor and benefits combined is up 15,000, utilities is down 5,000, our operating admin is down 101,000 due to the advertising is down 58. That included the final profit sharing payment in 23. Our office admin is down 8,000. Materials and supplies down 18,000. Equipment services is down 29,000. Rentals is down 3,000. Insurance is up by 13,000, and honorarium is up by 2. We've transferred the first quarter payment of 250,000 towards the annual payment of $1 million to the township. Our receivables are in good shape, 30 days and under. Our receivables are sitting at 568,337. Payables are at 939,814, and cash on hand is at 8,302,933. There is a traffic report because we didn't receive anything in March. We have 3 salt boats for April and 1 soybean boat coming Wednesday night.
A soybean boat's coming this week to load,
Yeah, it's coming Wednesday night.
and then we had our first salt We're gonna walk in them time, I guess.
Yeah, one was just in on the weekend and one more at the end of the month.
So I know our marks didn't look good, but that's because Seaway opened pretty much late. We didn't have any come in, so April's looking a lot better, obviously.
Yeah. And I think we've got a few lined up for Mace for salt.
Questions, comments on the financial report? Right?
No, I'm fine, thank you. I'll look forward to April.
Yes, good call. Mr. Ward?
Yep, sure, might as well. So I know that you said we didn't have the extra corn and the harbor services this month, but we hadn't forecasted we would either, right? I don't think, like, when you have the budget versus the budget, we still come in about 60% on that, and by the way, I should acknowledge that whatever you did, thanks for saving, $100 and some odd $1,000 on expenses, obviously, we did a good job of trying to curb that. So it was the salt, basically, that's that difference between the 340 and the 540? You got what I'm hearing? What versus budget, yeah, versus budget. Versus budget.
Well, for the budget, we knew to take out the steel project, we just finished the first quarter of last year. Left over from 2022, as you know. Well, we did still expect to get some grain going in March and so on, and thought perhaps we would. So we were aggressive, we let that in there, it didn't happen, so. Hopefully we'll make that up in ours, it's not over till it's over.
Oh, I know, thank you very much, that's good.
Well,
Any other questions? Comments? Just go ahead.
Through the chair, just a quick one, with regards to the receivables, the 568, is that all receivables and all payables, is that all within 30 days? Is that where our standard policy is?
Yeah,
And
Yeah.
we pay a third as well?
yeah.
Okay,
Typically, our customers are a little bit, everything's usually 30 and under.
yeah, really good.
fantastic, okay, and then they're all set before, if I did, I forgot, so thank you.
Okay?
Yep.
Any other questions? Okay. Moving on to AD, health and safety.
I'll say, I'll do that one.
Sure.
I'm not gonna read it, it's like the report I keep on you, but the bulk of it is, John spent a lot of time with the, salt management and updating some of our training and, getting some spots that, we were a little behind on. So, yeah, that was it for the month, if there's any questions.
Questions, comments, people? On the table. If any? Under the health and safety. Nope.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on. To 8F GM report.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Salt management, we met with the NTP officials on March 26th in Kingston. The meeting went very well. We've had Logitech there with us, the representatives. Their head of operations, and we also had Real Bulk, which is the company they purchased. And Steve Door across the street that handles the salt. The meeting went very well. The officer that had written some dates and deadlines in the inspection report, went through those, which is a good thing. They were ahead of the rest of the province as far as trying to tighten up the guidelines and regs around what's permissible levels going into the receiver, St. Lawrence River. So we're waiting for the next email to come from them to see where we're going to go from here. But we're definitely still have a lot of work on our hands as far as the and getting it clean and so on. But I think they finally get it that you're not going to lower the numbers in the pond. It was never meant to lower the numbers. It was meant to the product and slowly have it go into the river. And that's exactly what it's doing. Exactly what they approved. So other than some product going to Valley Dust Control, which we're going to work on a minimal amount, but we're in talks with them to see if we can't get that going again. But so stay tuned. We're still looking at it, and we'll wait to see what comes from them. The ball right now is in their court, but meanwhile, we just don't want to sit back. We've got to keep coming up with different ideas and so on. What we're going to do with the cleaning of the pond, we're looking at different methods of evaporation, different things like that. But the key that I'm trying to get across to them is, it's the amount of overflow that's coming out of the pond, that's going in, that nobody's measuring, so we wanna put in I think I mentioned this before, we wanna put in a flow meter, so that we can at least understand how much is the impact going into this. So that's the update on the solar management. We provided overflow parking area for the solar clips, we didn't need it, but it's good to have it there, and we all were together, and we had 2 cars show up, and that's okay. We did have an issue with the CCO to attest to the Windmill Road, got pretty crowded in there, so we ended up opening our gates in case we needed to get an emergency vehicle through there, so we're well prepared and work together well with the township to make sure we're ready for any incidents that might come up. We opened the Harborfront public walkway, so it's now open. We participated, I was invited to the township strategic plan, always like those exercises, so thanks Sean, it was, Dave, that was worthwhile, I think. We're still looking at doing something for the port, more specific to the port, we'll talk about that later on. We can confirm that we will be receiving 3 windmill blades, and possible storage for the returning blade. Also confirm 3,000 tons of international cargo, which is steel beams. And wish it was more, but it's back to getting more steel, and hopefully that'll carry into bigger numbers down the road. But we'll take what we're getting here. Several meetings with potential futures customers support, introduction to the port and services that we provide, availability of storage, warehousing, pricing. But however, due to the nature of the requests, they are confidential, and if they become more serious, which we hope, we'll definitely be bringing it to the committee and we'll have a camera session, talk about more specifics. Right now, it's more of a kick the tires, see what the prices are, and so on. Normally, these businesses are 1 year to 2 years ahead of when they actually want to do the business. On May 8th coming up, we agreed to allow a company to conduct a marine store exercise at the port. This will involve the deployment of pollution rooms on the Harborfront dock. CSL and Transport Canada will be part of the exercise, and a good opportunity for the port to follow along and better understand our options when it comes to marine spill in St. Lawrence River. To be really clear, we're not putting anything into the river. It's an exercise. So if you do, we're not really advertising, if you really want advertising, but if you do get a phone call that what's going on with things going out on the river, it's an exercise only, just for training. And then we met with Transport Canada, discussed our port security plan and changes regarding international cargo and restricted sites. That went well. We had the owner of our salts inquire about our practices, and just so everyone here is aware, there's been some changes to some of the rules in that if cargo is being dropped off, it's once it's off the vessel, it's no longer considered cargo unless it's going back on the vessel. Therefore, you don't have to provide a restricted area for it. There was a back and forth in Ottawa as far as what's considered cargo and so on, and our entire dock is restricted. So we bring our security guys in, we put them right at the gate. Now, with the newer rules, we could move the guard to the apron where the ship is, because that's the part that actually has to be restricted. So from the line at the rear of the vessel, where they tie on, the line at the front, and they tie on, that's 10 feet back on the dock, that's the immediate restricted area. However, we're keeping which we're allowed to do, we go over and above, we're keeping our guard at the gate, because that's the best place to keep track of the health and safety aspect of the public coming onto the dock. So reviewed that with the inspector from Transport Canada, and everything's fine. We're kind of over and above, and just letting us know that we don't have to restrict the entire dock. But then if something does come in that's restricted cargo or international cargo, then we got to change everything again to restrict the entire dock. So we're just going to leave things the way they are because they're working for us. Really. Thank you. That's our report. If you have any questions.
Questions, comments, people? Mr. McCauley, go
Yeah,
ahead.
one comment and one question, just a comment in terms of maybe a suggestion. with that marine spill training exercise, Robert, it likely would be good for you ahead of time on social media to just advise people both through maybe the Facebook page and also your social media site that in fact will go on. It might save some phone calls and some people being panic stricken over the fact there's been some sort of pollution spill at the elevator. So you might get ahead of that one. And then the second thing is just with respect to the salt management and the Ministry of Environment. Robert, do you have a sense from them that they intend to apply the standards consistently across all ports in Ontario? Because I think that's our biggest concern is that they apply something to us, but they don't apply necessarily the same way to everybody else. So was there any conversation around that?
Absolutely, that was the main thrust of our, in a sense, the package was out to you, what we were going to talk about during the meeting. Certainly, we hit all of those spots, and that's all we're asking of everyone's treated. You know, we can't go in isolation and start dealing with individual ports. You need to, at least, if you're gonna do that, you gotta talk to all the ports in Ontario. There's some ports that don't have any ECAs. We have an ECA. So yeah, definitely, points well taken, Frank, and we did address them.
Great, thank you.
Anyone else on the GM's report? Any comments? Mr. Board?
No, I just, there was a comment about good to see people flipping the tires up the port. That's good to hear. So, yeah, look forward to that, for sure. That's all I have there.
Good report. Thanks very much, Robert. Is there any, I just have the salt management. When do we expect? Because they're not gonna go away. And we know that. So is there any other meetings lined up for the salt management in the future?
Well, right now, what we're working on as far as action and doing things is getting the flow meter in place. So we're getting quotes on that now, and we're dealing with Blue Metric, who's our consultants, to do that. I want to do that no matter what happens. I think it's really important that we monitor what's actually leaving on in balance. We could be talking very minuscule about it, or if we have to redirect that, and we have to clean it, or we have to do something to it, it would be nice to know how much is there. I mean, theoretically, you can figure, you can do a theoretical analysis on how much rain, you have this much square meter of dock, however, you don't know how much is being, you know, you're doing some evaporation, but lots of times the Sierra pond is down 12 inches and so on, so you don't really know how much is being evaporated, but I think it's important that we monitor that. And as I said, I think the ball's in their court right now as far as receiving any instructions from the ministry.
Good. Thank you. Any other comments? Yes, go ahead,
So
Mr.
to the GM, the flow meter, that was us being proactive.
I think so, yes. Oh, yes, that was our idea. We
Excellent.
used to have one on the harbor. So they built a reader, build it up, and it's kind of got a V notch in it. It's just a reader with a data logger. And you can get to it Wi-Fi and get the information and so on.
Thank you.
Any other questions on our GM's report? Okay. Moving on to 8G, Port of Johnstown Investment, first quarter. Rhonda, are you talking on this or you or the GM?
Yeah, it's just our first quarter, our visa accounts that. 2.739375. Our Scotiabank GIC 12-month one is at 2.107660. And then our 12-month RBC GIC would be at 786026, and our 24-month would be at 784,153. The end of the first quarter, our investments are at 6.417213, and our operating account is still receiving 5.45% interest.
Okay, any questions, comments? We do have one, Scotiabank will be coming due July 2nd, eh? We'll have to sit down. When will we do that? Next month, Robert? This is April, so, or no, June, I guess. Yeah, okay. Right, let's see what we're doing with it. Any other questions, comments? Nothing? Thank you. Moving on to 8H, exterior basement wall repair. Who's gonna speak on this?
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. So we do have an action, before the committee tonight. Is to award a contract for the basement wall repair, 2024 capital project. There is some background information here when we started this. And when the original assessment took place, when we started a smaller project in 2013 to get an idea of what the costs and so on would be, and we continued the project in 2014 and 2015. We did tender the project at the beginning. Simoda was the lowest price of the companies that were involved, and then we went to tender again in 15, and we didn't get anybody that was interested. We worked with Simoda for the past, there's 4 years. They do excellent work. They are good to work with, and when it comes to extras, they're not a continual battle. I've had a lot of capital projects, and they're a company that is a good company and realistic when it comes to discussing if there are changes and so on. For example, we had to take down the other side of the fire escape and so on. That was after we had to do that before we did some of the bin walls, and they're very their prices were good and they were reasonable about it. And usually when you get into a change order situation, that can come up and fight you, but they're a good company to work with. So we're looking at an estimate of what we're looking at for we're talking now that below the bin walls. The bin walls have all been completed, and that's the round shape of the elevator. Now we're talking below that. We're talking about your window frames and the base of your bins and so on. Now we have to go all the way around and do that. There's the same amount of windows as there are bins. So on the outside. So we're looking at 208 total. On the south side, 106 with an estimate of 998,000. On the north side, 102 with an estimate of 464,000. In 2023, with carryover, we were able to complete 20 of those. Gave us a good idea of what the work would look like and so on, and did a very good job on those 20 repairs we did. And so we're budgeting the full amount of the 400,000 for 2024. And we're estimating, of course, that those will be after this another 800,000 plus complete this work. So the work does exceed 25,000, and we must have committee approval for that. We're recommending some source quote so that we can continue to work with the same contractor. I explained some of this before, but it is specialized work, and there's not a lot of contractors that can do this, so I'm planning to find them. Our financial consideration is 400,000, which was approved by council in 2024 capital budget. It's a unit price contract. We're able to keep, monitor very closely to make sure that we get over the 400,000. And the prices were kept in check. We were able to negotiate a less than 2% increase from last year, which with all the prices and everything happening, so concrete and so on, they're very reasonable. Now I have to go back to them on that. But it's close to the 4, but they were able to go get 2%. We're getting a very good price, I believe, here. So we broke down the unit prices. The recommendation is that we approve the order, the basement wall repairs, and some more that the unit prices stated above. So if there's any questions.
Questions, comments? Frank, do you have anything on this one?
I guess just a quick question so I understand a little better, through the chair. Is there anything structural here, or is this really to prevent, for example, leakage through the windows and around the windows? So I guess that's really the question as to what we are repairing. Is it something structural, or is it something to better contain the building, if you like?
I think it's a combination of both, but it is definitely structural. We have rebar that's showing, and what's happening is we're getting pieces falling off of the rebar and so on, creating a bit of a hazard as well that can fall. on people, and as far as the structure goes. You know, you're looking at a building with the concrete's 85, plus 85 years old, I think concrete has a life of about 85. So you basically have to do this at some point, you can't just leave it any longer, I think it's so it's a combination, we're getting some leaks there as well, but it's a combination of both, right?
Great, thank you.
Any other questions, comments on? Mr. Steele, anything?
Yeah, through the chair, is there any, other than the mobilizing Robert with the video, the pricing advantages if you did more this year? Or is that?
Other than the low FEMO, no, not, but if you want to do more, we're all.
No, a little better pricing if you're.
But no, I don't think it'll lower the unit price, okay, it's like going.
Mr. Mayor? Okay, Mr. Ward.
So this is a different area than they did back in, let's say, the 2000 teens, if you will. Like the late teens, I guess it was, so.
It's the lower part of the element. What's interesting is the bare walls, the north side is worse. And on this portion of the elevator, the north side is better. And part of that is because we had an electrical track where those big towers used to go back and forth, it has a hood on it. And reflected all the rain running down the bins away from the rest of the concrete. And it's amazing the difference in the two. So that's why you see one side's, basically double the other side. It's just the amount of repairs that are there due to the weather.
And after this is done, if you will, is there a next critical thing we're looking at as well? Right after this, or is there, you know what I mean, like, is there a?
Well, we're still 3 years, we're probably still 3 years here, and then you're looking at smaller areas, potentially like around the house, we still have to look at that. I know that there is some up at the rooftop where we do have some, windows that need to be done. This is the priority. So, I mean, I think they're always going to be making serious concrete repairs at some point.
Okay, that's all I had, I think.
I have a couple of questions, Robert. Our structure was good. It was, we did a structure assessment back in 2011. And then we went through all these repairs, about $3 million, I think, roughly, that we put in to repairing the cement and the basement, right? With the north side and 214. 400, 375 and 215 and so on. Why all of a sudden this inspector or our structural engineer in April and found out that we were in trouble?
Oh, he's not finding out with trouble, just getting an update on the budget. But we've always needed to do this.
I'm sorry?
We've always needed to do this. He's just giving an update on what he thinks the pricing would be.
So that's why he did the inspection in 2024 and not like he did it in 2011. That's all I'm concerned about. He did it in 2011, found out what we needed to get it going as soon as we could
Yeah, that's a
afford
good
it.
question. I mean, he looked at the bin walls, because that's where we're having really huge issues with leaking and for trucks falling off and so on. So that was the priority.
Right.
And then he looked at the basement walls after we got about 3/4 through that, and we're in 2023. We were just getting near the end of it, and we had some money in our budget, so we decided to do 20 of those windows because they're in bad shape.
Right.
So he didn't do necessarily a separate structural assessment of the condition. They have to be done. He's more giving us an updated pricing of the budget. Now that we've done 20, I asked him, what do we think based on those 20 that we did in 2023? We should be able to get a more accurate price for the remainder of that work. So that's what he did.
So under his assessment, does he think that we should continue on repairing them? In other words, I don't care if we got 400,000 in our budget this year and it comes out to 550. If it means the safety and to do the port, I'd rather take something else away in 2024 budget and continue on here until this is, you know, we feel that it's.
You know, we're looking at, 1.2 million estimated if we were going to do the whole thing, and I don't know if we can get the whole thing done this year because of the amount of time it takes to do it.
Right,
So we're taking it like we did the bin walls, we're doing them in sections. And, I think that's the right way to go. If we're, if we think that, well, we're getting to the end of the south side, and we say, hey, it's another 100,000 to finish the south side, then I could always come back and say, do we want to spend more money on that at that time?
okay, I just don't want this to get away from us.
No, I mean,
I'd rather, like I
yeah,
said,
this is the plan to continue. It's in your capital budget under future as well. And the 5 years, but I believe we had that at 1.6 million, something like that. So we definitely have in our plans to continue it. There was a lull that did happen back in 2015 where we stopped because of all the major new marine terminal project that came up, which was that $30 million capital project, and all the attention went to that at that time.
right,
But now we've gone active in 2022, 23, we're doing it in 24, and we expect to do it in the next couple of years to get it done.
Okay.
I don't think there's any risk of anything affecting operations if we didn't get it all done this year.
and would the company that's doing it, they would see too, wouldn't they? Like, you know, hey, they don't feel comfortable, but once they get in there and working. They could get a hold of our engineer and say, hey, this is what we found, what do you
We'll
think?
be watching them as they go, and our
Yeah.
engineer will be down checking. We have, because it's a unit price contract, we have to measure and look at how many repairs are doing.
Mhm.
And so we monitor it fairly closely with that, keep the price of the.
It just concerns me, like I said, I, you know, if it means that they get another 100,000 this year, so let it be. You know, for me, if it's gonna be a safety issue. Especially the basement walls, that's the whole heart of that place. Of course, with the age of the port, it's working against us, so. That's all I'm concerned about, and all that, I'm all for spending more capital this year, so. Okay, people, we do have a recommendation. That the port management committee approves and award the basement wall repairs 2024 project to Simitor, is it? Inc. Okay, at the unit price stated above. Excuse me, and that the total amount of spending in the basement wall repairs does not exceed 400,000, excluding HST. Allocated the 2024 capital budget. Report management committee approves the port care management sign contract on behalf of Port Township. Now is there any questions on this recommendation? Any concerns, questions, concerns? Yes,
I guess just a quick one with regards to the spend and the potential increase. What's the time frame on this right now, ballpark?
I think we're looking at, what we have budgeted, I think 6 weeks would be a fair estimate of the length of time.
Okay,
But I think it's something a little more accurate.
start time would be ballpark.
They're ready to go, so the sooner we can get this action, the sooner we get them down here. So the ballpark, hopefully we can get them here in the next 3 weeks.
Okay, they're coming from Quebec City, just outside.
I'm not sure how close they are to Quebec City, they're from Quebec.
They're located just west of Quebec City, but
Okay. Yeah, they stay down here, that's the mode and so on.
yeah, another receptor. So if they were to come on site, and find some additional, there's still lots of time to come back to the community with. further thoughts.
Absolutely, there is. We did that, we did that before when they were down, we had some bowlers that got a little loose, but we fired. So they were here, the cement guys, and we were able to work with to get those fixed while they're here. You notice, so they're the guys that do that work.
thank
Like
you.
I said, they're gonna work.
Great. May I have a mover? Moved by Mr. Smell and second by Mr. Martel. All in favor? Carry. Receiving area upgrades, 8I. Are you talking about this too, Robert?
This is, Mr. Fowler.
I think you're, this is, yeah, I passed a, kind of business plan for the, engineering upgrades. Just kind of give you a background of summary. That we, first, yeah, we have a quality audit and then look at all our systems and how we handle rain work, how our valves are really exposed. How we allow the cameras to get the drain. We usually have some, pesticide for, when the birds are flown around. And when we come into the odds, we're not no longer, cat. Supposed we have to remove those things. Those are the kind of things they look at. GMP plus is important because it allows us to ship grain to the EU, or the European Union. Several years ago, Boulder gave us a heads up saying that these are the new food safety requirements in the EU. So they would not accept grain from elevators more than GMP plus. At the time, I think there's 2 other elevators along the seaway that were had this certification. We applied, went through the audit process and got ours. Now I think all the elevators along the seaway are GMP plus certified. Yeah, it's just the Europeans are a little bit ahead of us in food safety directives, so that's really what's driving. One of the things they found during that audit was number 6, seeding pit, where we have random trailers, it's very close to the outside wall. It allows rain to come into the pit when it's raining. When the dumps, the trailers are tipped up, it allows rain to come into that trailer and come down with the rain directly into the pit. So that's a problem with valve scale footage. And the bend, that was flagged as a month. At the time, our first audit was in 2019. They came into our conformance, we brought up an action plan and cover the pit with rubber maps now, and that's kind of what I tried to show on pictures of the business plan. Show that I pulled back the rubber maps and you see the pit. That's how we deal with that, and that's what they accepted for the time being. We got into trouble with our loading spouts, and said, look, we're gonna have to delay this improvement. We've got to focus our capital on the loading spout. They were fine with that because they understood that if we didn't have our loading spouts, we really didn't need our GMP certification, we wouldn't be shipping grain. Now it's come around. It does come up every year. They go, what's your action plan? Where are you on this item? So we looked at this from several different perspectives at the time. We looked at maybe we can put an awning on the top of that pit, stretch out and that would keep the rain down. The only problem about it doesn't address any wind. So still, there's proximity to the outside still allows moisture to get into that pit. Gets mixed with the grain, and it's also hard on equipment when you have a driving rain. What's up? The rain comes down into the pit, sits in the bottom of the conveyor, and then passes by in the tree. So there's a mechanical issue there as well. So that's what we looked at. For that, we needed some sidewalls, we needed a roof. We needed to have some kind of structure over the top of that. They also point out on the inside where some of the majority of our loading, especially during harvest. Again, we have a lean-to roof there installed in 58. That's when we added that lane, and it only covers maybe 40% of the trailer, depending on what part of the trailer we're loading at the time. So it allows the rain to get directly into the trailer as loading, which is also considered a non-conformance. So we need to have a bigger roof for that. When we look at the project, we said, okay, we have to build this structure that we need a foundation because the soil is not great in that area. So we're gonna have to do it on miles. We have to go to that expense. What else can we do with that area? What can, to get some value? Because we really know there's no additional return on investment. We just build structures for quality issue, moisture and rain. We looked at the activity of the annex, and it's becoming busier at the annex. It's a great thing, but it is limiting our ability to receive grain at the annex and run it back to the annex. So by adding another receiving pit, that would allow us to generate a little extra income throughout the year where we can keep our appointments up a little higher. We did look at moving that. We have 3 lanes now. We looked at moving at one of the lanes on the inside. Problem is the 2 engineers look at it, and the rebar and reinforcement in that area is very intricate. It's tied in a lot of places. We'd have to cut a hole because the first 2 lanes share one pit. It's designed for rail traffic. That's what it was. It's all. Both lanes are in one pit. So you have to seal off one side of the pit, you cut the concrete and you put it in the pit. And that would weaken that floor structure in that area. So Basically, not the two engineers agree you shouldn't do that, but when you get two of them agree, one another, you're usually on to something. Normally, they all have different opinions, if these were agreeing on this stuff. So that's again, that's why we look to the outside. So that's kind of an overview of where we got to and where we're at this place for this big. A fairly significant investment of work, to protect our ability to export green. Right now, our soybeans, just about, I think, 90% of the soybeans going to Ontario go into the EU. That changes with the geopolitical that's going on in the world. At some point, Canada should bought soybeans to China. There was a trade dispute with the US, and China said, going to take them all. So that, but normally that's returned to normal, I guess, or what we were used to seeing. So basically, our soybeans go into the Netherlands, into Italy, is kind of where the wall would go. So it's important for us to maintain that ability to export risk in order to the customer. Any questions on that so far? I find it a difficult thing to explain because the port is, it's not a linear business. You can think of 50 consecutive Black Friday shopping days, where everybody wants to be in right away. We try and smooth that out, balance it out, so we can keep things flowing. It's a very, you're always dealing in a rough situation. You're looking at design a place with max capacity. We would like to start out with at least 60,000 tons of space for soybean. That was just quantity for 2 acres. We don't know what the acre schedules are, how quickly they come. It takes roughly 3 days and 168 plants a day. It takes a little over 4 days to get carbon at 130,000 tons. Last year, of course, was, the time we had last year, we had within 2 days, we had 230,000 ton acres in fact. So important to kind of keep all the cargo we can in the house ready to go on a ship. That's the way we generate it. Getting that with bins empty and then refilling them. So,
Any questions so far? Anybody? Go ahead.
I just have one question to the chair to, you only dump soybean down in there, no corn ever goes down in there?
we're at the.
What you're talking about, what gets wet, you're talking about the.
All right, sorry, corn, anything that goes into that receiving pit,
Okay, but I looked at the pictures here, and when you come down the number 2 highway, your corn is dumped out front by the annex pits, right?
some of it is.
It looks like it's gonna get all wet too from the rain that comes from the north. This is just inside the building as well.
It is a little, step in a little further, but it does have the same issue.
Okay, that's what I was wondering, but that's the same.
Yeah, it has the same issue, but that corn, when I say it's local, so the other, even though it's food safety, isn't as concerned with it will not be annex. Because it's not, they don't see it as being connected to the main building, although it is connected to it today. Their concern is that main building, because they know that, all the soybeans, all the wheat comes into that, that's where it is.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions before? Continue? Okay, go ahead.
Okay, I'm just talking about, there's some of the hard thing, I've got a lot of numbers in there, I've got a lot of charts, and sometimes I'm trying to lay out what the report does and how it does it, but I don't know how to stuff like that. Like, get it one spot. Right, that's basically where we are today. Kind of put some information, I'm not going to read the package, because I kind of give you an idea of content of the video. Looks like. Okay, figure 30 to 50 meters of package. Space got 50 feet of building, the max height. Look at the height of that. The biggest trailer, the main end-up trailer, is now 48 feet. It has a maximum lift of 39 feet 1 inch. Building layout basically 40 feet. Right, so we have lots of things to do that. Those are some of the details to look at. The first one is 2 days wide. It covers 6 and covers 7. So keep it symmetrical and keep the window balance, I guess. Next part comes back to like 1 lane, comes back at matches the curved roof line of that area. Then it drops down again on the back side again, it matches the curved roof line of the area. That's why it's kind of an odd shape. It's matching. Yeah, I put a deal in here to show, the annex deliveries. The ones that are highlighted yellow are non-GMO dated. Non-GMO is once we start moving non-GMO in the building, we can't move anything else in the building. Whether it's one load or 20 loads they get in a day. Take the data, sweep down, clean the system. Yeah, procedures we follow to do that, it's been approved by the customer. And we're all around once a year, so far with that, that's no big. But the issue is the concrete side was going a little later, last year we're into October, that's the total leak factor. So we're not at, we could not do their bit, so. Yeah, that's a good thing, different types of business, I'm not trying to paint that as a negative in any way, shape or form, it's just a fact. We'll also show them what capacity each kit is currently. So the annex zone gives us, you know, what you learn about the tons an hour, 5 trucks, not that we're missing on it, we get blocked up and can't utilize. Silas as well. I did mention this new container president. It has its own projects and its own budget, but it ties into this one, which is why I'm here with this fact. You have to have a cover over. Gotta have some cover to when you're going to old container, we need a roof line. So I mentioned it here, just said that it's tied into that. That pit on the outside, we're gonna have another pit there, but that's where containers for the bottom line side is covered under the weather. That's why it's mentioned here, because it's high in. Here, again, we looked at how do we maximize this, the container spread kind of came in long after, we looked at the quality issues with grain. Where was the best place to put it, not so to make it more 12%. Because there's so many plows drawn, that they're driven down because of soil, you can drive plows where it's support lines for the spread, it's set up, and do that right now. Underground, so, but current cost down. So we kind of divided the project and we split into 2 years now, and basically that is for the wood harvest. If we're okay to proceed, for a plan to get to the foundation of the building up this year, for harvest. And if we get lucky, we can have that pit operation with soybean, that'll be that would be the thought process, and we here, so we can install it. In the fall, you're ready to go probably December. That's how it'll come all guys together. Next year we can go back to the 6th pit. We do have some structural issues there with back on the floor. We move the steel plates to there now. Actually, open up that floor a little bit to change for the city pit. A lot of targets and commands at 6 are very slow. It's tied to the, so I studied it a little bit. It's tied to the same leg, which has the very same capacity. But when they installed it, they offset the conveyor to one side, so they would get nothing on one side. What that means is the truck basically has to finish the container hopper, be empty, before the truck can move forward to get to the next hopper. An 8 pit is wide enough, large enough, basically it's first train dumps, and as the conveyor is pulling that away, it's pulled up with the back of the train dumps that much quicker. But that's the way it slows down the process. So by making that conveyor or that pit so they're 2 feet wider, push the conveyor over centered up. Yeah, once I can see here. Okay. So that will be come next year, and again, that's just to avoid having any construction going on during harvest. So that would impede the flow of grain into the building. Any questions on that?
Questions? Go ahead.
So, yeah, because I was looking at this on the weekend, and I was trying to figure out the capacity problem. I think it's more of a, because when you're trying to get, 4 days to load the materials, really load ship. You really have to make sure you have that capacity. It's not based on the week, it's almost based on those few days essentially, that's critical. It sounds like, and so this extra bay, would this be as a bay actually, that's your pit, we predict that we like 60 or something a truck per hour, is that what it is? Sorry. 60 trucks per 12 hours.
We're basically replacing the pit.
And And I was gonna ask about I'm glad you introduced that topic of the loader, if you will, that mechanism of talking about, because I was trying to figure out how that fit into this. I was gonna be excited about it as well, so. And I just, you know, I mean, the reality is, I think that, you know, the numbers, we're trying to see if there's a business case for it, but I, you know, risking that GMP plus certification, I think is really, is something that's really critical, obviously. And so we had an audit this year and had a finding against it, was that? Was it a close call, for instance, or maybe that's not a conversation for now, but was it, like, were they really upset about the non-conformance there, or was the aspect of that?
With the moisture, it's pointed out every year. They wanna work with us, yeah, so I mean, the risk of them pulling our certification, I think is low, but on the wrong day, we also, in the audit, then we close that pit down, shut the door, we make a map over. So this year, the audit, there was actually rain. It was actually east wind, and you know, it's rain coming in the other end of the pit, and that's what we John, I remember to get that conversation going, but it's better opposite into the pit. And the pit, this is what it was done with this. Again, so it's, they could hit us with to make the pit, but I don't think that's their design. But it is.
Good. You said that we'll be doing 200 metric ton an hour with this new system? So,
With the new, with an additional pit, yeah. So basically what we're doing is replacing capacity that we have in the annex. We want to utilize that. With the non-GMO corn business, interfering with that, that will probably get worse with the desire. Less access to that pit. We'll just move the capacity of that pit forward. The annex pit, the new pit, we use the exact same infrastructure. We run it back on a conveyor, it's the same software to get to the scale. So that we're not changing anything, we're always using what's in that. So that will give us another 5 trucks.
and are we increasing the non-GMO from the company that was dealing with every year, or is that?
That's unknown. Right now, we're training the vendors 3 times. Probably.
Okay.
They have asked in the past if they could invent additional phase, but that's why I haven't gone anywhere serious yet, but they may require it. Would it be available? Could it be really considered? But it's never gone beyond that.
For non-GMO? Any other questions?
You want to ask some questions?
No?
Thank you. So when you're using the annex, I just want to clarify this with everyone. You have a lot that bring it across the conveyor, lock it again, once it gets in those, so you're locking it 2 times.
You're not.
Versus using the pit that you're recommending.
Yeah, we're locking the points just like we do with every
Right. Well, there's an efficiency gain there. And quality, right? You're not inspection. Also, you got to pay it to your equipment this month, right? And it's the land of bringing it over to the annex, over to the house, to go get it.
So, 250 now.
You know, so there's some efficiencies there, like not using that.
Yeah, that's right.
Questions, comments so far? See you on, are you almost done? No.
Well,
I don't want to rush you, but.
it's not gonna be any question, I guess. Well, I'm the real question, but we'll move to the action. I kind of explained out the rationale behind it, the history is behind that. We have looked at different options. This seems to be the best option. We want to get the biggest bang, but. So we're looking forward to the recommended contract for the construction of the foundation for the first phase of the CV area upgrades. And there's additional background. We tried this last October. We sent the bid out as one package, and we didn't receive any bids. I love the feedback. I like a couple of customers. One said they were too busy. One said it was just too many. Wasn't quite big enough. It was mechanical, it was concrete, it was civil, it was not enough of a. Any one particular thing to get the teeth into. That's why they decided to go away. One contractor did express the thoughts that they had a detailed engineering design on the foundation. Definitely can't, not too far away to come and do it. So that's what we did. The facts of line was we made up a custom detailed engineering for the foundation. Put it for tender. if 7 companies show up. 3 were submitted a bid. A little disappointed in some, one company has said that it would definitely take a crack at it, got a detailed line, so that's not on its plate. Or what the feedback was. Anyway, so we're looking at, this is the first, so we broke it down a little bit in the business cases to see if we can get it moving forward and get some interest from contractors going to be on. So we're able to do that with 3 contractors. Again, this is the protector EMP plus certification. And also then while we're doing that, is trying to look at ways where the generator will come forth and maybe the loading, again, loading is a good opportunity. I spoke to the company again 3 weeks ago. Said they were very interested and we were disappointed with the new one did last October. They kind of expected in the construction phase of this time. Explain what's happening, explain the process to them, and he understood. But he's expected to come down and for the on that. Anyway, that's the new business being generated out of this area. So we're looking at a new building, foundation first. The next proposal will be for the building to get approval for the foundation, which will come back to this committee in May, along with the lowest spend, because it's patent spend, so it'll be the sole source that's produced, what the allowance in the current policy. One thing to note, just the bringing it down. One thing to note is that I did mention the accent, the price of the foundation is higher. I had the engineer do an estimate. I bumped his estimate up. That's lower the past. Well, we did that. It came in higher than that. It expected with 650,000, 40. However, because the 3 bids are within 10% of one another, that appears to be the market price. So that it's no one is extremely high. They're all very. Doctor, the project I've done, this is the one where I got the tightest spread amongst so I just want to put that out there. That the overall budget is on the next page will be higher than the 2.3 budget this year, but the expenditures this year is not expected to exceed budget amount based on the work that we accomplished for harvest. I just want to be transparent and make everyone aware of that going forward. That's where progress is going to do.
But once we start, there's no turning back. And then when I read what got me, I didn't feel warm and fuzzy, is when you said that it's under investigation.
Right, I got feedback from the engineer. He said he added 20 piles to his design. He said he hadn't done it just as a flat floor. He hadn't expected to be a receiving offering. We did have more piles, had more support for the structure. So then there's a little bit more forming work involved. And the one thing that he had a little lower was the price on it. But I hadn't really thought about this, so he and I had a discussion is that concrete is going to go up in price, it's getting harder to find. Where this country is destined to build so many more homes. With all the concrete foundations, there's high-rise building going up. Talked to one contractor vendor, his sales price has been told not to sell any additional concrete. They'll plan to work for the next few years.
But everything went up. Foundation, the building, mechanical, like at 2.9 will probably be about 3.5 million. And we're all said and done.
The building actually was, I kind of bumped them up a little bit based on what we saw here. The building, I'm not expecting to come in that high, to be honest, but the original quote was getting one quote when it was, one guy broke down some components and we explored it as a general project. And the quote was $399 for that building. There would be some adding on top of that, that would be the erection on that, in terms of that, and it'd be a little bit of lighting. But that would be basically it, the building should come in below the. We won't know that.
Questions, comments, people?
well, I think it was along the same vein you were going there, Mr. Deputy Mayor, but so, you know, and I guess, I echo that. You know, how much is it gonna grow on the building, mechanical, and everything else, and I think you covered that. When do we think we're gonna have those tenders, so we know those numbers, by the way? I guess that's the, you know, to firm these numbers up in the budget itself.
Or, and for the.
For the building, mechanical, you know, I guess all this stuff that's on here, right? I mean, I guess less important is the miscellaneous and the engineering because of the less dollars. But the building and the mechanical, when are we gonna have those tenders in?
Majority of the mechanical will come in as well. It'll be, this is everything keeps in together. There are some shoots in there, there are things that are different components, so they'll be coming from different manufacturers, so we can do a verification of all the city that. All the progress on mechanical. The building will be, that is a. Located to move forward, I'd like to get the building tender, beginning next week, have it back from this committee for the next week. Hoping, the miscellaneous things, again, not really tender, it's cutting. We've got a whole wall, it's not a lot of money, but it's a lot of attention. I think those costs are fairly steady under. Very close that we have, made it. Foundation of the building, everything, no, the other side. None of the check and conveyor prices, and things, none of them have gone up significantly since we had the vote last year. Right. That's what we're looking at.
So we're gonna be over 3 though.
Yes. Yeah, I believe it'd be about the $3 million mark.
Pardon me?
You'll be at around $3 million mark, I think, 7, 9, the other 20.
And we budget for 2.3 for 2024, is that right?
That's correct.
Comments? Direction, need some help here, people?
Well, for me, like I say, it was nice to put together 2 cabinet teams. A lot of detail there, but it's one of those projects where you're gonna do needed infrastructure work that you were gonna have to do someday anyways. You're getting rid of a non-conformance, current non-conformance, which may turn into something a little more ugly. Customers probably don't like having water in their rain. We don't like having water moving, conveying around the elevator, freezing in the pit. So you're gonna eliminate that, provide flexibility, more flexibility, unload trucks faster, need more grain in it. That's a good thing. Customers are happy. They're delivering. So, I mean, I know it's more money, but it's, Regina just brought up from RBC that construction materials going up 51% or not 51%. It's probably not going to go down. So if you wait another year, it's going to be another 50% or another 30%, another, on and on. So for me, this is one of those good projects that make sense to me. Anyways. Makes sense to me. So I would support it.
It's a project similar to the loading spouts. We needed new loading spouts to continue with lots of loading because they were around date. The newest ones were 60 years old. So you're protecting the, soybeans, roughly about $3 million for that year. You get it. So that the new loading spouts solved some operational issues, but they didn't really generate any more revenue. They say this is a little bit expensive and makes it more efficient, but they didn't bring any additional new business. So we were actually protecting the businesses we had in place. This is somewhere.
Go ahead.
Yes. Kevin, I should ask this earlier, but so the container loading project that's on the books here, that we were all pretty excited about, I think, the last time we talked, and still are. If we said no to this, if this didn't go forward, what happens to that? Because you're gonna put that in the cover or the lean-to. Yeah. It won't go there the way it is. But
no, we have to put on one of the inside lanes, and then that cuts off. So that capacity for unloading grain, so that.
Or spend more money on that project to upgrade the lean-to. And
No, that's
so a little bit of a.
Yeah, the 300.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it goes hand in hand because we've got to put a roof on it.
So you're gonna facilitate that project expense, but keeping that in mind by.
Gina? Do you have any? That? No. Mr. Mayor? It's hard to believe. Mr. Ford.
No, nothing else.
Wow. The mayor got me. Yes.
I just echo a lot of the comments that Randy made. I think they're all very valid points.
Yeah.
I think you've also got some other efficiencies that might not be as apparent right now. You're talking about the material handling, the locker rate, the amount of times it's used to move door. You know, you're gonna save on labor, you're gonna save on energy, you're gonna potentially make a lot of drivers happy by increasing the cycle time through as well. You're gonna do stuff that's needed anyways long term. It's infrastructure work that's gonna be required, if not required now. And your material damage is gonna be significantly reduced with your material handling as well. So I think overall, it's a very sound project to proceed with. And the fact that it gives us the ability to do the container loading in the same facility without any additional costs and encapsulate that. I think it's a win-win across the board. So nicely put together as well. Thank you.
Frank, you want in?
Just
Sorry.
a quick question, and I apologize if Kevin covered this, but he was cutting out a bit for me. The container loading spout, will that be available in 2024 or is that part of 2025?
It should be available at the end of 24.
Great, thank you.
Any other questions before I call the recommendation? Recommendation, Port Management Committee recommends that the award of Rail Shed Foundation Project 300-580 to Rose Mechanical Inc. in the amount of $940,000, including HST plus 5% contingency. But the Port Management Committee authorized Port General Manager to sign a contract with Rose Mechanical Inc. on behalf of the township. Any more discussion, questions? I need a mover and a second. Yes, please. Moved by Mr. Martell, and second by Mr. Ward. Any more questions, comments, people? Before I call, all in favor? Carried. Okay, I need a mover and a seconder for the action information items from 8A to I. Moved by Mr. Ward, second by Mr. Snell. The action information items: A, grain operation report, maintenance report, capital projects, financial report, health and safety report, GM report, total jobs and investment first quarter, exterior basement wall repairs 2024, and the receiving area upgrades. And go ahead, Mr. CEO.
Sorry, Mr. Chair, it's probably likely that she wants to receive from A to G, H and I are action items. The rest of the information.
So I just need from A to G.
A to G.
Good. Thank you for that. It's already been H and I, so A to G. Moved by, seconded by Mr. Snell. All in favor? Okay. Thank you. Number 9, approval of the disbursement support account. Any questions, comments, people? Did you look it over? Do you have any? Mr. Ward?
Yep, through the chair, I see we started to pay for our green driver there. That wasn't the question. I knew that was happening. Is it usually about $30,000 a month for hydro? Is that? I see it was $33,000 for hydro. Is that normal? Or I just never noticed that before? Or $34,000?
I think typically, yeah, we rock around, I think we usually run 25 to 35.
Not giving it a.
That.
Okay, yep, no, that's fair. Thank you. That's all.
Any other questions, comments, people? Looking it over? Okay, I need to move to the Port Adjustment Management Committee, approve and report invoices circulated numbered as follows. Moved by Mr. Ward, second is Mr. Martel. All in favor? Carried. Council inquiries, notice of motion? Anybody have anything? Go ahead.
Just have an inquiry through the chair to, Mike, 2 or 3 months ago, I asked you about the lights coming off of Highway 2 on the east end of the.
Yeah.
And I noticed there's a light there, but it's been burned out and it's never been repaired. I just-
Jeff said he changed the bulb in it, I thought he changed the bulb. I'll mention it to him.
Okay, because it doesn't look like it on last time I was by it, but decided to bring that to your memory. Thank you.
Any other inquiries? Motion? Okay, I do have a little report, people, it's short and sweet though. First of all, I'd like to thank all of our members of our township for chipping in today and helping us on Earth Day. Had a great barbecue and it's too bad, but we bagged 63 bags of waste, so. And on our general manager's report, salt management, just for the record, like to thank our MPP Steve Clark and our Mayor Tori Deschamps for working behind the scenes by being at different meetings and showing our concerns that we have with the Ministry of Environment on our salt commitment. So thank you very much for doing that, Mr. Clark and Mr. Deschamps. And I also like to thank Mr. Clark. Every time I see him, he calls me over. He's still working hard to bring natural gas to the port. So, and I think he's a little pit bull, and I think he'll get what he wants. It takes, might not be this year, but I think we'll get it. So I just want to make sure that they're recognized on that, being in the background coming up with that. So that's all I have on my report. Question period, Steven?
In the last meeting, we were talking about only voting the amount of people that comes into the port. Could we not just do a virtual tour of the whole elevator, start to finish, show people what the inside of it looks like, and then project that on the day of the port? They just, so people, there's a lot of people like to see what the inside of it looks like. And it'll be an easy way to do it, and then you wouldn't have to have that many people in the house. You could just show them, this is the way it goes, and you have a video, like on a video, start to finish, like on the Grand Canal building. How up, in for, up on the basement. We got a ship coming. I don't know if we can get it together fast enough, we can, like, have a video of your learning ship. I don't know if that would fly or not, I don't know how feasible. Final is just like.
What do you, Mr. GM, any comments on it?
I think it's a wonderful idea. It's a matter of getting it put together in time for June. We also talked about doing a video, not so much right inside the elevator clips of it, but we talked about doing it in advertising sort of report. So there's been no action on them. We've got good ideas, matter of getting the people to work on it, the time to work on it. But we'll definitely take a look at this.
Could we bring it back? Thank you so much. Can I answer your question?
Yeah, and well, the video, we already got the township, that's a pretty impressive video, I seen that. The trade show, like it shows like the elevator and the marina and different areas, going like in the west part of the township, the north end, Cardinal, like that's, I was really impressed with how well that was put together and. That's some of the visuals that people don't usually see yet, so I was impressed with that too.
Okay, good. Thank you. There's no closed session. So we're gonna move on to number 14. We are going to adjourn this meeting, if I have a mover and a seconder, at 7:50 p.m. Moved by Mr. Smell and seconded by Mayor Deschamps. All in favor? Very well. I know.
I